Hey everybody, welcome to today's Facebook Live. And today I'm just going to give you guys like 45 seconds or a minute to trickle in to our live broadcast. And today we're going to be actually talking to Tyler and his mom, Natalie, and we're going to be talking about how he beat death-defying levels of Crohn's and rheumatoid arthritis over the past 8 weeks. Now, a little about me is my name is Dr. Maggie Yu, and I'm a functional and integrative MD. And what does that mean is that I came down with autoimmune disease myself when I was at the age of 36, and I had to, by force, really, I had no other choice. I had to figure out how to beat autoimmune disease in myself naturally. Being an MD, I knew that there was very little that conventional medicine had to offer me. And in that process was really, I figured out what are the major steps that it takes to actually stop feeding autoimmune disease and treat it at the root cause. So that's what we've been doing. And as part of that, we have an online program that's 8 weeks called Transform Autoimmune with Dr. Maggie Yu. And if you haven't heard about it, you can go to our website at drmaggieyu.com, autoimmune. And I will put up that link in a second later on. And you can watch our online training to learn what our programs are about, what our philosophy is, what our genius model is for turning around autoimmune disease. Now, for those of you that are watching right now that are already trickling in, please tell me where you're watching from so we know the demographics of where you're watching. That's really helpful to know who and where our people are watching from. Number two, this is not easy for Tyler or Natalie to share. This is a very intimate journey, and as we're going to dive right into, so please give them a thumbs up and a heart and a wow face right now, as they're going to be sharing a lot of details about their journey and their experience. And then if you can share this right now, anyone with Crohn's, rheumatoid arthritis, anyone have autoimmune disease that you know that's gone through death-defying symptoms and measures, feel free to share this with them to show how this can be all turned around in just a matter of 8 weeks. And we're going to go into how we did that with Tyler. Okay, so with that being said, thank you so much, and for Tyler and Natalie for joining us. And I do want to do a quick disclaimer that even though I am an MD, a medical doctor, I am not acting as an MD during this interview or for this video. And so it's important to understand that there has to be a disclaimer that you got to consult your own physician and you got to watch these videos for educational purposes only. It's not meant to treat or diagnose any problem. Awesome. With that being said, we're going to dive right in. So I'm going to have, we're going to talk about how Tyler beat Crohn's and RA that was severe death-defying symptoms in just a matter of 8 weeks. So Tyler, I'm going to have you first introduce yourself, and then we're going to have Mom Natalie introduce herself as well. Go for it, Tyler.
All right. My name is Tyler Walsh. I'm 31 years old. I have been battling Crohn's disease, RA, osteopenia, brain fog, severe depression, pretty bad anxiety for almost 10 years now, and just been, bounced around to all sorts of different doctors and specialists, and have had tubes in all sorts of places, and finally found a program that has healed me. I got the help I needed.
Yeah. And Natalie, what's been like? Well, let's have you introduce yourself and what your journey has been with Tyler up to this point.
Oh,
right. Yeah. So when Tyler got diagnosed, I'm Natalie Walsh, Tyler's mom. Tyler got diagnosed. It was life debilitating. When he first got diagnosed, he couldn't work. And so we cared for him for 4 or 5 months until we got him back on his feet. And then he's had symptoms on and off, flares, if you will, over the last 10 years. And this last time was so severe, I just dropped everything and pretty much lived over there and took care of him and his kids until we got him through this program. So this program has saved his life, literally. And mine, because, now I've got my life back.
Oh, so
right.
I actually really want a little bit more to go into we talked just 10 weeks ago, Natalie. Tyler, 10 weeks ago, we were just on the phone talking about where you were and what the symptoms were. And this was right before, this is week 9 or 10 since you started this program. You finished the program like a week and a half ago. So literally 10 weeks ago, I want to ask both of you, and we'll start with Tyler, what was life like? Where were you at with your severe Crohn's and RA 10 weeks ago?
Well, I didn't have a life. I was so bedridden and in so much debilitating pain that, you can't think, you can't function. I couldn't even put my socks on without basically wanting to scream in pain. The weight loss, the brain fog, everything that I was going through. I mean, my mom literally had to carry me out of a bathroom once because I couldn't walk because of the severity of it. And it gets scary. I mean, you're withering away while you're sitting in bed. You can't play with your kids. You can't work. You can't do anything. You're just basically waiting to die. And it puts a serious mental strain on you to where you wish you would die. I mean, because you're putting so much stress and strain, not on yourself, but everybody around you. I mean, the effects that I see in my parents, my kids, having to watch me go through that, it's pretty devastating. And to be at where I'm at today because of your help and because of this, it's just incredible. I mean, I can't thank you enough for getting me back on my feet from where I was, because, from the first calls, as most of you saw, my mom was literally laying in bed with me, basically having to talk for me because I didn't even want to be on camera. I couldn't talk. I looked like a crackhead zombie, pretty much, just like withering away, almost gray. I had no color. I looked extremely, extremely sick, and I was extremely, extremely sick. But here I am on this call.
Natalie, I mean, you did most of the talking when we talked 10 weeks ago. What was it like that, like watching him literally die like that, like dying right in front of you? What was that like?
Well, over the years, it's just desperation. As a mom, you bring this little baby into the world, right? And then he grows up and you think he's good. And then he gets sick. And it's just heart-wrenching because there's just nothing you can do. And so every time he got sick, I would go online and I'd start researching. I'd look at people's blogs and I'd look at people who had done things to help them. And so I would try to implement these. And I was recommended to your clinic before it closed. And then I was sadly given the information that it was closing. And I was just devastated. So then all of a sudden you popped up on my Facebook page. And I jumped in and told my husband, I told him, you've got to watch this. You've got to see what's going on. And he said, well, if it works, we're in. But Tyler's got to be in. Mm-hmm. And he was so sick. Yeah. So we sent the videos to him online and said, you've got to watch this. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you're willing. Because they have to be willing. If they're not willing to change their mental state to get better.
Yeah.
So he was in.
Yeah. Natalie, what you're referring to is that I've been a practicing physician for 22 years, and the first 10 years as a family medicine doctor until I came down with autoimmune disease. And then the last 10, 12 of it as a functional integrative doctor focusing on autoimmune disease. And we no longer do this in a clinical setting because we found a much more effective way of doing this in an online setting in a group coaching program, which is how we do that now. And we use little elevators, a summary of is we use data, education, life coaching, and mindset work to actually create outcomes that are impossible in a clinical setting. And so it's interesting because you came in looking for a clinical solution with a clinic visit to this, and you ended up enrolling in our online program. And so let's talk about this. I kind of want to give a contrast to people because everybody's experiencing their care for the autoimmune disease through a conventional model doing clinic visits. I want to actually move very quickly into how we do this online. But before we do that, I want to ask you, you had some doctor's visits right before our program or right in the very beginning of our program with a conventional GI doc, right? I want to ask, in the conventional approach, what were your options? What were their assumptions of what your outlook was going to be? Because this is typical of people with Crohn's. So I wanted to just share your experience.
Yeah, well, when I very first got diagnosed, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and I was basically just dying at that time too. And so we switched to the Oregon clinic to a very well-known gastroenterologist over there. And he is very, very stuck on Western medicine. And so was I at the time. And so I didn't know any better. I felt, okay, he knows what he's doing. I'm going to follow all these instructions. And I'd go through stints of getting better and think, all right, this is working. These pills are working. So then you go through that roller coaster. You're feeling good. So then you start drinking some beers again. You start eating your grilled stuffed burritos again, your pancakes, all that good stuff. And then boom, your flare hits again. At least for me, that's how it worked. I wouldn't really feel it. It's like a build up. And then just one day, powerhouse of a flare, and I'm out for weeks.
Well, guys, when it got that bad, what were the solutions they had to offer you? What were your options?
Yeah, well, my options were I either go into surgery or I get on hardcore meds like Humira, which I attempted, but I completely quit that pretty soon after, or Stelara, or I die. And I was told that I am going to be like this my whole life, and I'm going to have to get surgery, and I will probably die anyway.
So what I'm hearing is he only offers that conventional medicine, and this is my experience as well as a doc who's been a conventional doc, and I was in the receiving end of this as a patient. The only options that conventional medicine has to offer us with complicated autoimmune disease like this is either a medication or a procedure, in your case, surgery or death.
Yep, that was it. I mean, and my parents didn't, I don't think my dad really believed me. So he went to my last appointment with me and my mom, because I wanted to show them, like, he's not on board with any sort of other functional medicine. And he basically told them right to their face, like, this is your son from now on, and he's going to die, and he has to have surgery or get on this hardcore medication, which probably is going to kill him anyway.
So Natalie, that was your experience, was that the doctor basically said your son's going to die?
Yeah, that was the conversation. We were already in your program. So Tyler's like, we got to go to the doctor. I want, what if it does? I mean, those are the conversations you have in your head. What if this new program doesn't work? Then what? So backup plan, right? Go to the GI, tell them what we're doing, put a backup plan in place just in case. Mm-hmm. And I believe Tyler's follow-up appointment for Crohns. I don't need to go. And standing there and saying this is what we're doing, and the doctor just dismissing our attempt to put Tyler in a better way without those hard meds, without for the rest of his life, without having to consider death and where his kids are going to go. We were devastated, and he was right. I think Tyler's dad didn't realize how sick he really was, and the fact that Western medicine wasn't going to be the answer.
One of the things you guys both pointed out to me was that they told you whether or not he goes on medication or whether or not he gets surgery or not, he's going to die.
Yeah.
Is that really true?
Correct.
That's what you were told?
Young.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is very true. They said I have such a severe case of Crohn's disease. I'm on like the highest danger of Crohn's, that even the surgery, even if I get a small part of my colon out, it's going to eventually come back. It's going to attack more of my colon, and I'm going to have more removed, and I'm going to have either a bag, but the infection is just going to keep coming and keep getting so bad that, eventually it's just going to kill me.
Okay. So
multiple surgery.
This is a huge problem I find with the conventional medicine approach, is that their assumption is that they're here to that when you have severe autoimmune disease, that it's an inevitable march towards pain, suffering, and death. They're here to just manage the death of how you're going to die.
Yeah, that was basically it. Just managing my life, trying to live this awesome life, and until you just basically get so sick that you die in hospital from nutrients deficiency, or
no wonder you wanted to die.
Yeah. Yeah,
they told you you're going to do it anyway. That's your only. You didn't even have an option. You're going to die anyway, no matter what you do. So I could understand the feeling of depression and frustration that you wanted to die as a result of that, right?
Yeah, severe. I mean, very severe, to the point where I literally left work one day because of the Humira I was on, that I was told I had to be on, which was so against my gut, and I knew it. But you feel so stuck. I was my gut instinct was saying, don't do this, dude. You're going to have problems with it. But when the doctors are saying, no, you're going to die, you have to be on this or get surgery. Like, what does somebody like me do? You know?
Well, I mean, that being said, though, to be fair, that is right now in the conventional medical training, the best graduates, the best medical schools, the best doctors, their only tools from a conventional approach is really medication or surgery only. They're not trained in any of these other approaches that we're going to talk about right now. Okay?
Yeah,
They're not, well, not like they're not trying to harm you. They're not trying to, you know, poo-poo you, what you're saying. They just don't know. They don't have any training in this, right? So let's fast forward right now. We are 8 weeks. We're at week 9. You graduated a week ago. People want to know, what were the outcomes you were able to get in the last 8 weeks? Let's list some outcomes.
Man, my life back. What have you guys created? You've created a monster. I mean, I'm so driven now. I've always been like so creative, but I used to go through these super hardcore depression stints, and my creativity would just go out the door. And I just thought that's just who I was. I had to battle depression, or, you know, it was my bills or whatever. And after these 8 weeks, like, I'm on my feet. I'm creating art. I'm driven. I can play with my kids. I can go to work. I can work out at the gym, you know, gain my weight back. It's gaining back slow, but I'm getting my life back. And I'm just so happy that this is working. And if I never have a flare again in my life, which I don't plan on ever doing, you're incredible. I mean, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me ever.
And my question is that people are going to ask, how the heck did you do this? So what's the secret sauce? What is it about our online 8-week program? What is it about it that you could never achieve in a clinical setting? Why with us on an educational program online with us? Why? What were some of the linchpins that you were able to get personal mastery over that you couldn't in a clinical setting?
Well, I found out, you know, that my vitamin deficiency was a huge factor, which I didn't know. You know, Western medicine didn't tell me anything about that. My hormones, which is kind of embarrassing. I had the hormones like my 9-year-old son, which I had no idea that had a factor into that either. You know, infection was a big part. Controlling infection is big, and balancing blood sugar. You know, I have a huge sweet tooth. As you all know, I would eat pancakes like crazy, but I haven't had one since you know, I've graduated pretty much. So yeah, it's just like controlling those linchpins that I never knew about from any other doctor. I was always told I was anemic, and iron was always a thing that they always went towards. Oh, you have low iron, you need to go get an iron infusion. But there's so much more to it. I mean, once I started balancing my blood sugar and getting my hormones balanced, and controlling my infection and killing the candida and just all that stuff that goes into balancing your body, has helped me more than anything that's helped me so far.
I'd like to say that the way that we have an actual online format where because we use your data, personal data that's customized, and then we use education. There's actually educational modules that you and mom did together to learn how all these pieces fit together. And then number 3, all the live coaching we did in a group that teaches you how to think critically, how to have personal mastery. That's huge. And then personal mindset work with our mindset coach. I mean, these are pieces that, as a clinical doctor, I've never been able to put all into one program together, and it's not possible in a clinical setting. So we did this online. And so, you know, a lot of people will be like, why can't I just go see a clinical doctor instead and get all this versus doing this online? They consider this an inferior approach.
No, the community that is, I mean, of your whole program, just you and Jackie and Maggie are a huge help, but the community of everybody that comes in, even though it's like 98% women, and I felt really outcast at first, I was like, crap, I'm going to start this and I'm just going to learn a bunch of women's stuff and maybe take 2% out of this, but it's much more than that. I mean, I got so much information, and the friendship, you know, and the community, and you, and just the advice that you get from everybody, and the information that you gather from this is just so helpful. So helpful.
It's interesting because we have a lot of graduates that are watching right now. If you're a graduate, please just let people know you're a graduate in our program. And for those of you, I mean, who have had similar experience that Tyler and Natalie have had with your conventional doctors, please say me too on the bottom, and please tell us a little bit about your experience. And if you know somebody like this that's gone through like this, please share this video right now by putting their name underneath. That'd be super helpful. And to learn more about our program, go ahead and go to drmaggie.com/autoimmune. And I'm going to put that link up right now, right on top here. Now, Mike, next question that people are going to have is, you mentioned the power of community. This is a group coaching program. So I want to ask you, let's bust some myths right here. I had someone yesterday tell us that there's no way I would do something in an inferior online program compared to going to see my clinic, finding one doctor that's going to fix this whole problem for me in the town near me. So why, I mean, is it an inferior process to have an online group coaching program? Is this inferior? To be honest, I want honesty.
No, and I'm not one to normally speak out, right? Like I'm when it comes to public speaking and being in front of people, I'm normally pretty shy, but this whole program is definitely not inferior. It was so welcoming and so awesome to join. To go into the doctor anymore, I wish I could just do this all the time instead. This is so much better. So much better. You learn so much more. It's comfortable. It's way more in depth. You know, doctors don't give you the time of day. They could care less. All they want is their paycheck. You get 15 minutes and that's that. You know, we got what, eight hours of time from you in 8 weeks. You know, I mean, that's killer. It's way
like
better.
every week. And there's all this, and there's all the, so it's interesting. I think I talk about this. There's 5 areas that is what I learned is really important to master. And I say 6 actually, to actually stop feeding autoimmune attack. If you guys haven't watch training on the link there. But the 5 areas, number 1 is blood sugar. You got to master blood sugar, not just high, but the lows. Number 2, hormone balancing, key. I mean, even for a dude like this, it's not a woman thing to have hormone balance. Tyler had hormones of a 9-year-old.
I thought it was, but man, was I wrong.
You're wrong. Number 3 was food mapping. How important for you to know exactly which foods was triggering your autoimmune attack. You've never had that in your 10 years of dealing with these diagnoses, ever.
No, I was eating pineapple like crazy, and I didn't know I was intolerant to pineapple. You know, I thought two pineapples a week. I was probably juicing, thinking, oh, yeah, this is good. I'm going to fix my Crohn's. It was damaging it more. So a food intolerance test is by far one of the most key freaking things you could probably do. Food
mapping, huge. Number 4, vitamins and nutrients, which you found out was key. And then number 5 is the role of infection and gut healing and how important that was. Right. So one question I have for both of you, in the 10 years that you both have been dealing with multiple autoimmune diagnoses, did you master one of these areas with one of your doctors at any time?
Never. They didn't even tell me about any of this. I didn't know any of this.
No. And searching online, right, is all you can do if you think there's something else out there. And one point, Maggie, if Tyler said 8 hours with you, right? We also had 8 hours with Frankie, right? And to do that in a traditional manner, it would have probably taken about 45 visits at a traditional.
And Natalie, it's not even 8 hours. We're talking 5 hours of live coaching every single week for 8 weeks. Let's try tripling and quadrupling that amount.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking probably 10 years worth of doctor visits compressed into 8 weeks, and the results are revolutionary. This is a revolutionary program.
Yeah, this is by far the future of medicine, by far.
Absolutely.
Western medicine is a good thing for certain things, but when you come to autoimmune disease and these kind of issues, this is definitely the future. This helps people 100%, as I know, and I love it. I mean, this is how it should be. This should be so much more open to the public.
Yeah.
Well, it is, but it's, I'll be honest with you. People find that because it is such an out of the box, it's a very different paradigm. This is a very out of the box approach. That's why we get out of the box outcomes like this. And when people see a video like this, I'll be honest with you. People think you guys are paid actors and this can't be real.
Yeah, I wish I was paid.
Me too.
Am I paying you for your fake acting right now?
No. I wish. I mean, you can if you want. You can send me a check. I've seen your list. I see you got a lot of people signing up.
I love you.
It's impressive the amount of people who are gravitating towards this program. It's phenomenal.
The list is huge. And they're all going to get
the amount of people you're going to help is just amazing. I'm so excited. I feel so blessed that we found this when we did. I really do.
What were you about to say, Tyler?
Yeah, just all those people are just going to get help. I mean, I'm so happy for them that they found you because, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there who are probably almost dying and are skeptical about it. And you're just like we were. But, man, once you get into it and you realize, wow, you see the testimonials and you're actually in the program with people and see physically how they're getting better, it's incredible. I mean, and I know there's a lot of people out there who were in it with me and saw me the first week and see me now, and it's just like, holy shit, like this guy has completely changed. I mean, 180.
You probably don't want to post a picture of your before like 8 weeks ago, but you recently posted a photo of where you're at right now. I wish you could do a side-by-side of before and after for people to really understand. You can't pay someone to fake that level of misery and the level of progress.
Sorry, I saved those all the Facebook things. So I was thinking about going on there and doing that, finding the video where I was really sick in bed, screenshotting it, and I'll post that with a side-by-side if I can figure it out.
Rock. So some final thoughts. Number one is, are your outcomes typical people in the program? Are you like way above outcomes and compared to other people? How does it work out? Like, am I just putting the person with a super outcome on here on the video? How does your outcomes compare to other people you've seen in the program?
Everybody that I've seen in the program so far has the same type of outcome. I mean, we all have different issues and some have similar issues, but everybody so far that I have personally seen has turned around for the better. So I think the outcomes are so far, for my experience, 100% from everybody, which is incredible.
And Natalie, I mean, what was it like for you as a support person in Tyler's life to actually engage in the program with us as well? What was that like for you?
Well, and I'm sure there's people out there going, oh my gosh, the mom, right?
Yeah, Tyler's mom, great.
Yeah, Tyler's mom, right? Well, with him being as sick as he was, there's no way he could have retained any of that information in the very beginning.
No way.
There's no way it could have happened. And so just being able to support him and get him on track and you know, it's kind of like putting him on, you know, on a bicycle with training wheels, right? And sending him off and saying, okay, here's this stuff this week. How you doing on that? What are your, you know, what supplements do you need this week, right? Because he wasn't working.
And Natalie, I felt like you went through a mindset shift yourself, because I think you were so used to jumping in, like saving him all the time. Right. What was the mindset shift you've gone through? What was the transformation you went through?
The ability at the end to know that he's going to be okay, and I don't have to put out the safety net, because he knows how to manage this. He knows the supplements he needs to take, the foods he needs to eat, and he is well on his way to thriving for the rest of his life without me having to help him at all.
So freedom for you as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Freedom for both of us.
You're like, Mom, get out of my hair.
Right?
I love him and I love the kids, and I've got 2 other adult children, but it is so nice when your children are healthy and happy and thriving and just doing so well. And I couldn't be happier. I really couldn't.
Final question for
Even
both
though
of
I
you.
cried.
Aw. Final question. It's an investment in this program. Okay.
Yeah.
And was it worth the investment? Was this outcome worth the investment in the program? It's a very non-traditional way of investing in your health. So was this worth the investment in your health?
If you want to die, sure, don't invest. I mean, in my case, but the investment in this is well worth it. I mean, the knowledge that you get and the health that you gain over all the doctor visits, all the stressful bills, all of the shots, all the medications, all of the not knowing what the hell is going on ever. This program is definitely worth the investment by far.
And for me, if you look at it from a parent's point of view, if I would have had to bury him, or if he was so ill he couldn't work, raising his children with their mom would have been way more costly than getting him where he is today in a position where he's going to live a really long, healthy life. It just doesn't make sense not to.
And some lady commented on one of them about the price, and then the food's expensive, the supplements are expensive. But once you do this program, you realize it's not, because you change how you eat. You stay out of those middle aisles, you stay out of those box food, you see all that, and you spend that money on this stuff that you get guidance to buy to better yourself, and it's really not any extra expensive over the expense.
But the thing is, Tyler, a lot of people think that if we're online and we're selling something or something, that we're selling like packages of supplements that people have to take for life, and they're going to spend hundreds of dollars on Maggie Yu's bottles and bottles of protocols of supplements.
It's not true. I mean, I like how you don't want us to be on anything, ever. If we can balance our body, we shouldn't have to be on any supplements or any medication. Like, that's the goal. The supplements are to get you there, to balance you. Yeah, with my vitamin D so low stuff, sure, I might have to take some vitamin D to maintain that. But other than that, after I'm balanced and I get the candida out and all my body and blood sugar and all the right stuff balanced, there will be no more supplements. There will be no more medication or extra expenses. It'll be done, and I'll be healthy as long as I just maintain that lifestyle.
Yeah. For me, I have this big philosophy, and people seem not to understand, is that for me, the most important thing is there's got to be a scientific approach. I'm a medical doctor and I'm a scientist. There has to be a scientific medical approach to what supplements you actually need, dump the ones you don't need, and the most important thing, find out the cause that's causing that deficiency that makes you need the supplement in the first place, and fix the cause so you could get rid of all those supplements. Now, who the hell wants to sell you that education?
Nobody but you, I guess. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I like the fact that the supplements get them healthy, get everything in line, and their body working like it's supposed to, and then you retest. You learn how to analyze your blood tests and all those things, and then you can make adjustments how you feel.
Personal mastery.
It's going to work for you. Yeah, it's personal mastery. It's mastering your own body and your own body mechanics.
And they're not even really that expensive. I mean, compared to other supplements that are out there, like, bulletproof, they have an MCT oil or like that, and it's expensive. Yours is not even that expensive. So when you go through the website, it's really not that much extra cash over any other supplements that you can get from it.
My philosophy is I don't want to make any money off of selling supplements to people, because I consider it it's just a natural Band-Aid also. So I'm not promoting that in any way as a long-term fix, because it's not an autoimmune disease. I'm all about fix the root cause, dang it. Don't need the stuff. Don't take the stuff, please.
You need to sell expensive supplements.
I don't think people understand that a real MD who is selling some supplements, but really my program is to actually enroll people to actually have personal mastery around autoimmune disease, so they don't need any of that supplements or any sort of expensive protocols or anything like that. I think people find it really difficult to believe. Maybe I'm a paid actress.
Ooh.
Right. And I just graduated college with a master's degree. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much. Those of you who are watching this, please give Tyler and Natalie big hearts, big thumbs up. Please share this video. And down below, if you've been experiencing this yourself with death-defying symptoms from Crohn's, RA, or any autoimmune disease, please tell us your story below. And, if you have questions about the program or about our approach, please go ahead and post some questions, but also go to the website link that we've posted below and on the bottom of this video right now. Go watch our training, see what we're all about. We're happy to talk to you, to go through it a little more about detail about our program, to learn more about you. So I want to thank Tyler and Natalie for joining us, and for all of you for watching and sharing and supporting Tyler, all the graduates that are watching right now, thank you so much for continuing a community of love and support for other graduates in our program. You guys are all leaders, and thank you, Tyler. I know this was scary for you, and trying really hard not to swear. I want to happy to report you didn't swear once.
Yes, I did good.
You did good. Thank you, you guys, and have a good night. And everybody, get a chance, hop onto our training or join our Facebook group as well, so you can watch more of these videos. Thanks a lot.
It's amazing. Join it. Peace.